Okay, so this morning I just want to talk to you a little bit about AI, and there's a lot going on with AI and a lot of different types of AI today, especially when it comes to coding and app generation. And so I just really kind of want to talk about prompt engineering, right, and being able to use the tools. So let's kind of take a look. This particular one happens to be called Base 44, and I'm not promoting any particular AI engine. But I just want to talk about prompt engineering and getting it to do what we want to do, okay? So let's say we wanted to build an app to validate known good user accounts against Active Directory, okay? In a small environment, if we offboard somebody, we can, manually do that without any problem. But when we have an environment where we might have 100,000 or more employees within Active Directory, that's not really sustainable to do that manually. So I always talk about writing a prompt or writing a script to validate that we should have a text file with known good accounts and then validate those two. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to give this prompt some information to build us an app to do that for us, okay? So I want to tell it what I want to do. I want to build an app to validate, let's just say Microsoft AD against a text file of known good accounts when we offboard an employee. Look for any accounts in Active Directory that are not in the text file of known good accounts and notify admin immediately. All right, so let's see what we get. So it's going to take a minute. It's going to go and kind of build this idea, and then after it builds it, it's going to kind of just show us that, and then we'll publish it, and then we'll be able to actually go look at the app and what it does. So the more information that you can give the AI prompt, the better it can actually create what you're trying to do, right? So the more details you can give it about what you're trying to do and what it's trying to do. Now, having said that, AI can make mistakes, so don't 100% just depend on the code itself. Like once it's done and you publish it and test it, you want to look at the source code and then begin to look at any security flaws that it may have that could be manipulated. But you're always going to start with just a simple idea, and then see what you have from there. Okay, so like I said, prompt engineering is about being able to actually understand what you're trying to do first, and this will probably take a few minutes to get it to actually do what we're doing. We'll see if it's going to build me one with, all right, so let's just publish that and see what we got. So it actually built it, kind of simplified. And here you're going to drag and drop, your text file for your known good accounts. Then you're going to add Active Directory here. So this built a really simple one. And you're going to add these things to it. So I had built one earlier. Let me go over here and let's do actually, let me just check history and see where I've been. All right. So I built one earlier, and let's see, on a different engine, and let's see if I can get back to where is the there we go. That's what I wanted to see, right? So right here was the app I built earlier off of this engine, kind of giving it that same prompt, right? And got a nice looking interface. And then you would log in. So I'm going to log in there. Now I get this, okay? So I could add a list in here. Let's just say I did j.doe at company.com, and I hit scan and compare. It's got some mock data in here it put in there just to kind of show you what it does. So now it goes and scans Active Directory for company.com. I see I have a J Doe or John Doe. I've got some of these others in here. Bruce Wayne, right? A little Batman action. Is disabled. And really the whole idea behind this particular type of app is that to validate when I offboard an employee, to make sure that they haven't created a secondary account. There have been quite a few cases in the last few years where someone who had administrative rights, they created a secondary account and then left the company. And then after they left the company, they accessed, right, remotely that database or that network from that account that we didn't know about. So typically when an admin offboards an account, they offboard the account they know about. They don't necessarily go and look for accounts that they don't know about. So this is just a little simple, app kind of to help do those things. But my whole point being is this: when you are using AI to create anything, the more information you can give it, the better the results are going to be, right? So you can kind of see the difference between the two different AI engines I just used. One built me a really clean looking, got a nice app interface to log into. The other one was just a plain kind of, very useful, by the way. I actually kind of like the other one, the one built by Base 44, where you're going to upload your information to it. But again, always make sure when you're using these things, if you're going to do that, you pay whatever the fee is, you take the app offline and deploy that internally, right? You would not want to be loading your Active Directory to AI. That would be an absolute disaster. You have to think about what you're giving, right, that data center, because you don't get that information back. And once it's out there, okay? So be wise, be smart, use them. They are tools, okay? They are tools that can be very, very useful for us. But again, they are tools. And so, have some common sense when you're using these tools. There have been cases even recently where, people within the government have used like ChatGPT to do some things, and what they fed ChatGPT was, information that they shouldn't have fed it. A lot of people today are using like ChatGPT, load your resume and say, hey, clean this up, make it ATS ready, so it kind of gets by the AI engines that are parsing your resume, and they will, but at the same time, right? Just remember that you're giving that AI engine that information, right? So I have used these in the last year or so, especially like ChatGPT, in creation of course materials, where we basically took a documents, if you will, for like different devices. Like let's just say Arista. We took manuals for different models of equipment, fed those into the AI engine, and then said, hey, create me a base outline course from this documentation. And then of course we have to go back and do a sanity check, right? Does this even make sense? Right? Never just trust that AI makes sense. Always validate it. I had somebody recently ask me, so what are you going to do when AI puts you out of a job? I'm like, I'll be the guy fixing the AI, right? Somebody's got to do it. It's not going to take over the world and those things. Again, it's just a tool. It is only as smart as, what we can tell it to do, all right? So I hope that helps somebody in thinking about prompt engineering and using some of these tools to our advantage and not to our detriment. All right, peace out.